Darude Sandstorm as well. And let's get into pick and ban here for the final game of the evening. Kiin's expression has not changed whatsoever from the last time he was on camera.
The longer you get into these 6-game days, right? It's 10 p.m. Korean Standard Time. You know, you feel the exhaustion, especially after the momentum was so swift against you in that last game. Gen.G have been in so many high-stakes series, though. I am sure they'll be able to keep themselves focused going into this third game, but we've thinned out the draft. We have 4 champions per role banned here fearlessly as we move into a third.
Yeah, so the Galio has been banned every single time. The Vi was banned in game number 1, got through in the last one, so that one's sort of banned by default. Jace, another big one here. Lucian, and that one is going to be banned away. I think Nocturne priority is going to be going up, given the junglers that we've seen so far. But with the Orianna banned away, maybe it is not. Let's see what this next ban is going to be from Hanwha Life eSports' side, as the Annie will hit the deck. An interesting ban, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. One that we were talking about in the last game, but I mean, Wukong Annie, very simple to play.
Yep.
It's not what I'd expect to see banned against someone like Chovy, but it is certainly a very powerful pick. The Lucian is mandatory. Ezreal's gone now.
Yep. I do feel like the the Camille ban does have to come through. It's something we were talking about before. But one thing that I think is going to be played this game, and I'm feeling it in my bones, you know, is the Yone. I just feel like Yone is going to be played.
That's a pretty aggressive prediction, but it could happen.
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to see Lulu in this game, some sort of Lulu lane on one side or the other. It's going to be a Yunara lane, likely, you have to imagine, but there's a few different variants we could see.
I don't think we've seen Gumayusi play his own Yunara skin yet.
No, I don't think so.
He did play his Misfortune one just previously. But
Jace
I haven't
is
seen
gone.
The Yunara one just yet.
So, blind picks here, there aren't a whole lot of safe ones. Viktor, I don't think is something you want to pick first. Doesn't really grab onto the game or take control. Like, Gen.G chose first pick, so this first one needs to be a big one.
Yeah. The Nocturne is, as far as the tier list is concerned, the top of it.
But after watching Canyon play the Global Pantheon last game, I don't know if Gen.G fans are necessarily convinced on this one here at the start of this draft.
We'll be able to do the Canyon thing, where he just hard farms as quickly as possible. We'll see how aggressive he goes as well. We've seen some Nocturnes go for very aggressive invades.
Maybe a bursty Nocturne Aurora could be the angle here in this draft, depending on what Zeka does pick up as his mid pick. And there's that Yunara with a Lulu, I think, to come with it. And this is what we expected, or at least I expected, coming into this draft. Although they pivot the last possible second over to that Viktor I was talking about.
Okay. Viktor has been a big one for Zeka recently. He's actually found a lot of success on this champion.
And Xin over Skarner. We haven't seen Kanavi really enjoy to play the Skarner all too much.
And this is one of his favorites.
Oh, this one we saw yesterday, and we did not like it that much, but it did win, and it was very funny.
Oh, that's a Kiana. He's just scaring the fans. He likes the Shyvana the most, though, and so the Shiv will be locked in. I will tell you,
that roar from the crowd was not a pleasant one.
Yeah, that was a shriek. Look, some people, I imagine, are pretty excited about it. This is a fun pick, right? And the last time we saw Kanavi play this, he did hard carry.
Yeah, he also hard inted, but he also hard carried.
Yeah, we called it the 1v10 because he had to verse himself as well, and he was fighting back. Let's just say that. All right, let's see what Gen.G are going to lock in here. The Varus, a consideration, which is a quite interesting one. And it looks like Gen.G are going to be locking down, theoretically, a potential bottom lane, right? The Varus can always flex towards the top side of the map, so you do have that added flexibility.
And they're not going to get the Lulu lane. Hanwha Life are into this if it is going to be a bottom lane pick.
I mean, you can still... Like, HLE could pick Lulu on 3 if they wanted to.
They can.
Because there's
Aphelios,
Kog'Maw, and Yunara that can be played with it. Yeah. That is a Syndra for Chovy.
All right, into the Viktor. Pretty bold setup here, especially with Nocturne being relatively weak pre-6, but so is Shyvana. I think into Nocturne is where Shyvana is a great angle because of that. It'll be a Leona lock, it looks like here. Very surprised by this at this stage of the draft.
And it could also mean that the Viktor is going into the bottom lane. We do have to remember that Gumayusi could be the one piloting this in theory, even though we have seen the mages kind of take a back seat as far as bottom lane.
There's not a lot of engaged follow-up for the scatter. Like, yes, the Nocturne can follow, but remember, the Jhin is banned, regardless of where this Varus is going. Could still be played in the top lane. And if they ban away Nautilus, then what other engage is left here for Duro to play? Maybe that's why they grabbed the Leona here, and maybe we just see Guma Ziggs.
Yeah, potentially.
It could also still be the Viktor bottom lane, but unlikely, I would say.
Yeah, I don't really like it as much, but we do have to remember that Zeka could pivot to something else. The Sylas is going to be taken away. They do not believe that Chovy is definitely playing the Syndra.
I mean, the Sylas angle is pretty big here, so I do...
Yeah, Sylas into Shyvana is kind of silly.
Yeah, I do really appreciate that ban, regardless of whether even Kiin was picking that one up on the top side. It's crazy that Gnar has not seen a look in this draft at all, or any of these at all. With all the counter picks right now in the meta, though, I think he's starting to fall a little bit off. Jack's ban, but there's no Olaf.
An interesting one. We are getting towards the end of the top lane pool.
That makes me feel like the Varus might be going top. Because Varus is... often you play the Jax into it to try to get some angles for the all-ins.
I'm a little bit worried about that because it's Zeus. I don't think that you can blind Varus safely into this guy, as there is a Rakan. Like, Zeus might even just Gragas the Varus, and that could be really scary.
Okay, so what's
Rakan taken away?
What's Duro gonna play? Is the other question.
Rel.
It could be, but it's not necessarily an ideal Rel angle here. One more top ban, potentially. Or something towards Gumayusi. Okay, we'll be at K'Sante. This draft is very open-ended for both teams with these mages.
Yeah. Hard to know where things are going.
Might change a little bit right here, though, if Guma is so bold to pull out his debut pick. Leona and Kaisa, a little bit more of a common pairing, but Leona and Yunara, not really a known duo, not really a strong partnership there that we have ever really seen.
Yeah, I feel like Gumayusi is just playing with the hearts of the fans right now, but it looks like they're going to lock this one in. Yunara Leona is not a lane that I've seen succeed all that often.
I mean, it's just not one we ever really see, but it can work well if the Leona is set up well and is not playing into a range matchup. There's not a whole lot of range left.
Okay, what is Ruler going to be locking away here? And will it be his bottom lane choice? I think if it's top lane Varus and mid lane Syndra with this Nocturne, like, I'm very worried. But that is going to be a Kalista Renata. This composition is insane from Gen.G, and I don't think it's in a good way. As, yeah, they've got a lot of teamfight control, but there is zero frontline, not even a little bit of frontline. The only frontline is the frontline that they create by making HLE fight each other.
Yeah, I think that the Kalista is very powerful at, just kind of forcing her way through a lot of fights, but if she gets CC'd by anything, it's a problem. You mentioned the Gragas earlier as a counter pick here for Zeus into this Varus, and it is going to be what we see here.
It's Mundo instead.
Okay, changes at the last possible second, which is also a very difficult health bar to eat through when we get to the late game. And Hanwha Life eSports are indexing fully into scaling here. Yeah, I'm not talking about the Shyvana turning into a dragon, but we're all late game. We've got decent engage, but it's hard for you to get on top of Yunara. You've got to get through a Mundo, you got to get through a gravity field, you got to get through this Shyvana and the Leona.
I mean, if this game goes late, it's over. Gen.G will just never be able to win. I don't think so. They're going to need to have a massive lead moving into the late game in order to really stand a chance. They do have a decent amount of keep away. The handshake's great. The scat of the week's great. Into a Mundo, though, it's going to do basically nothing. And it's going to have to be absolute heroism here for Gen.G to make it work past, 20 minutes into this game is what I'm kind of feeling.
Here's what I think is how Gen.G will have to win this game. Level 6 gets hit for the Nocturne, and Canyon is ulting on cooldown non-stop, any pressure point he can find. If he can do that, get the Varus ahead, make sure this Kalista can have a mid-game that's super powerful where they can control early dragons, they can just take hold of the game and never, ever let it go, be oppressive, they can win this game. If they can't do that, if they lose control for any second, at any moment, one bad team fight, and it is done. It's lights out. Gen.G have a comp, I think, that can make this work. But like game one, the execution is going to have to be so crisp.
We'll see whether they can do it. It's a fun draft. I'll give them that, but it could be a tough game to play out. Let's get over the rift for game 3. All right, I think the Gen.G fans figured out that HLE are just way too loud, and they did increase the volume. Let's see how this one's going to go.
As a young League of Legends commentator in 2021, you told me about one of the principles of the LCK, which was that you could never let Ruler have Kalista. Kalista was not meta, but it was banned in every single game.
That is true.
Gen.G was playing, and that was a different time. It was a long time ago. It was 5 years ago. But Ruler gets his hands on it here in this pivotal game in a pretty rare situation. I mean, right now, Kalista Renata is one of the most oppressive bottom lanes in the game. Renata wasn't released when we were talking about those bans back then. I trust that he should be able to generate a lead in this matchup here into Guma and Delight. But how well can he use those advantages, and how well can Canyon play through his level 6 is the real question.
And how well can Kiin take control of this lane as well, right? Because the Mundo is susceptible early, but will be able to just run down the Varus. If he gets an advantage, it'll be very, very difficult for Kiin to kind of do anything unless he's underneath the turret and has been able to take away the CC immunity from Zeus, and that's going to be a tough thing to do as well, with only Chains of Corruption really being able to do so.
There were a few different picks Zeus could have gone for into the Varus, right? Like the Gragas is definitely an option. You know, we saw the Jax banned, but the Mundo is kind of just a, I'm going to survive, you can't kill me, and I will be way more relevant than you later.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that for the rest of the identity of this comp. They have a Viktor, they have a Yunara, not to mention the Shyvana, of course, for late game as well.
And HLE only just lost their first Mundo game, I'm pretty sure, against T1 in the Casper Cup just earlier. It was a very different draft that T1 went with in that one, and it was a barn burner. It was a long game, and they were eventually able to take it down, but it's a tough one to do. This is Chovy's first Syndra game so far this season, which is kind of crazy. The Ruler and Duro also playing this Kalista Renata for the first time.
We've talked a lot about how he generally avoids it. This is an early Nocturne gank, 3-6. Very face up here. Cleanse, flash, heal, everything's available for these two in the bottom lane for HLE.
This is going to be a tough one. Let's see whether they can make the handshake work as Gumayusi flashes. The fear comes down. The bailout isn't quite going to work, but they do get the kill under the Yunara. Still, I believe that was first blood going over to the Leona, as now Kiin in trouble. Kanavi just barely survives, and Zeus is not going to be so lucky. Two for two across the board.
Trades in the dives. As unfortunately for Zeus, he isn't able to get out there. Looked for a moment like he was just healthy enough, but he was not. And this Viktor has been pushed out of lane here a second time by Chovy. Let's watch this play one more time. It's all about whether or not you can get the kill to get the bailout if you want this dive to be clean. As Guma survives just a little bit too long, but ultimately does go down anyways, and Ruler is able to walk it off. So that's a big win there on the bottom side, even with the trade, because Ruler survives and Guma is out. Kiin flashes here. Kanavi is able to survive with the Triumph coming through, but it looks like just a few hit points shy of surviving for Zeus.
Yeah, just barely able to get the turret aggro back onto Zeus, as well as in the LCK. This was a very long time ago that we did have the Mundo on the top side of the map. Zeus has been playing it a lot recently, but in MSI and things like that, not necessarily here in the LCK. So it's been like, I can't really do the math there, but that looks a bit like
5 years,
4 years.
Rascal Gen.G.
All right, well, there you go. A long time ago. As Ruler and Duro actually held onto their flashes that entire time, so they will still have so much control of this lane. You can see 300 gold is the advantage, but I expect that to extend.
Trying to... That's really the name of the game for this composition, is to get ahead in lanes. The Syndra has a small lead. The bottom lead is much larger after the dive. And it's a lead for Kiin as well on the top side of the map, because they got that kill, but he still maintains a large farm advantage. Mundo does well even on low eco, but it's going to take a while before we get there, and Canyon's here for his second pass.
I've seen this movie before, ladies and gentlemen, and with those flashes available, they can go for it. Canyon, Umbral Blades will be able to pick up the kill under the Yunara, and they could even stick around for Delight if they'd like to.
If Kanavi can get this done without an ultimate, I don't think so. Kiin also has his ult to peel.
Oh, Kiin steps forward, and without Ghost, without Flash, he is definitely going to go down. He wants to take Zeus with him, and that is not going to be possible. Really nicely played here by HLE on the cross map.
I still think this favors Gen.G because they get a real tangible lead their bottom side and once again remove the AD carry from the map, whereas this is just putting a small hole and a little bit of catch-up here for Zeus on the top side. Kiin didn't know about that gank. That's why he walked far forward there. If he had just played back, he might have actually been able to be totally fine, but that far up, not a prayer. This time, Guma doesn't have Flash, and Delight is just going to try to stun, picks up turret aggro here, which is Ruler, but they can kill him so fast that Ruler only takes the single turret shot on the edge and walks right out of aggro range. And here for Kiin, he just knows he's dead as soon as Kanavi shows up, just tries to kite this one back and do as much damage as possible, but it wasn't even close.
Yeah, not quite able to do that. And a second belt is done here for Zeus. Probably going to be going for a Warmogs, allowing him to get into the wave, clear it out, then walk away, heal up all of his health, and then everything's fine.
Lane swap here on the top side, once again for Guma. Going up here with Delight to try to put the pressure on the solo Varus, and they're going to put Mundo down here to apply defensive measures, triage for that bottom lane. Kanavi does now have his ult available there on the bottom side, but still diving into a Kalista Renata to try to defend this Mundo. It would be kind of a, I want to say fool's errand, but a very risky endeavor.
Let's just say that. They do have the bailout as well, which is going to be real difficult. Zay's just laughing at them, which is quite amusing. But I don't think he's really going to be able to affect too much there in that lane. And Gen.G lead by about 1,000 gold. I think they're going to want that to be a larger number, as this is kind of a doomed wave state for Kiin to deal with. As it is going to be Gumayusi holding on to that one, not going to be trying to shove that in or anything like that. On the other side of the rift, Ruler is putting the pressure on. And the more plates that do fall down, the more that lead will extend here for Gen.G. And I imagine that is going to be the game plan here.
I see a dive topside. Kiin did not use his flash, so is going to have a little bit of defensive play here with the Chains of Corruption, but there's so much here. And actually, it's not going to be committed for Kanavi. They're just going to play through Grubs in the prio. They have their top side instead. Already see Ruler has left, and it looks like Zeus is just going to push bottom. He can TP in, however. This is going to be a really pivotal fight in this early game, especially if HLE can win it. Gen.G need to hold on to control, and I don't think HLE are going to commit, but Gen.G really sent everybody, including Ruler, went all the way up to the mid lane to make sure they can hold on to this, but at a cost of a few plates to Zeus.
Yeah, and I think the really important thing for this game for HLE is being able to play cross-map effectively. Because they just need to make sure that they stay in touching distance as far as gold, and that will just lead them to the promised land of this late game where their tanks are too tanky and they will do too much damage. Gumayusi will be able to be that hyper carry that they need. Canyon just going to walk towards Delight here. That Dustbringer working out, but Kanavi will take the blue, and they will be able to walk it off. So Gen.G unable to find too much here as they enter the enemy jungle.
As Merc treads Viktor just isn't necessarily ready to fight. He is going to come over here and apply a little bit of damage, but that will be the end of this skirmish. There is a possibility of a dive onto the Varus, but again, with those defensive tools, it's really difficult, even with Kanavi holding ult, to make it happen.
Ooh, Static Shiv done here for Ruler. I do kind of like this. So many times it is the Blade of the Ruin King first for the Kalista, or has been in the past. I like this adaptation, this item being buffed quite a few times.
Just gives you more fast prio and more ability to jump into a fight as soon as possible.
Yeah, being able to clear out waves comfortably is definitely good, and the fact that it upgrades the on-hit from the other items is going to be important as well. Exactly. As Chovy doing a lot of poke damage onto Zeka.
Zeka just holding his ground here, as Kiin has done a great job in this 1v2 of just absorbing Guma's attempted pressure and this attempted lane swap to turn his fortunes around. He is going to cash in a call in 37 minions time to even things up a little bit more here, as Kanavi has just not really been able to impact this bottom lane. He's been hovering around here a lot. He's been constantly trying to see if he could find an angle, but it's just too much pressure and they don't really have a ton of damage in this early game. He's got his Kraken Slayer online now, but he's just kind of been waiting for an opportunity. And Canyon made his mark on the bottom lane early on, and now we're really truly living in this lane swap meta. Guma's going to feel the pressure soon about the role quest completion time. It's going to be first for Ruler 100%, and so he will start to actually pull further ahead as he starts to get that initial cash in from the quest completion and the additional gold from minions as we move forward here. So something to keep in mind. That is something that will cost Gumayusi in the short term here in this game, which will further the lead and the power of this tempo-based composition for Gen.G.
Now Ruler just trying to stop back here, but not going to be able to do so. And we'll just clear out the minion wave very comfortably with that static Shiv. Very cute stuff. Do you think that Zeus's pants are going to be held up effectively?
With 3 belts, I imagine so. He's also kind of a big guy, so I don't know how much of a belt he really needs.
True.
I don't know what size he's wearing, but I don't know how big they make him. As Guma is going to get some plates here with the help of Kanavi, as finally they'll start to get this wave crash through and pick up some much-needed gold. On the bottom side, though, it's a turret.
Yep, and it's a Drake that goes down there as well. Cloud Soul does come in for Gen.G.
It's turret plus roll quest here for Ruler for an explosive gold surge, and they are not done yet. They're just going to keep pushing.
Oh, great handshake does come down as the Solar Flare will connect. Ruler might need a bailout, but does not actually need it. As Zeus, very healthy. Kanavi moving over, does have the ulti available. And that Kraken Slayer, like you alluded to earlier on. Gumayusi just allowing this minion wave to
He doesn't know where Canyon is, so he's kind of like, well, this is a little scary. I want to get this, but it's kind of a little bit too free right now. Not sure if I trust that. As Zeka's also going to get the proc of this Crypt, I said Crypt Bloom, but the Crystalline Overgrowth.
Indeed.
And grab that first plate. Kanavi has been spending this entire early and now beginning of the mid-game trying to find an angle and not being successful. So big win for Gen.G on the bottom lane, getting that role quest, getting that turret. But again, for HLE, you're behind right now, but you're supposed to be. And you're not in a game state where the game is unplayable. Yes, Gen.G have 2 dragons, but that's also natural, considering how much bottom lane control they've had this whole time. Half the game has been Guma and Delight getting pushed in, and then the other half has been Zeus, who took that mantle for just a moment. And he needs to get his role quest as soon as possible, Guma, though, because he is otherwise going to continue to fall further and further behind. He's 2 stacks away from that Cull completing as well.
Yeah, so we'll have a bit of extra money back, but it is currently 850, close to 900 gold here for Ruler as he is dancing around the mid lane right now.
You can lose dives, but you can't lose team fights if you're HLE. That's really the main difference maker here. Is now he's going to be laning against AD carry Kiin.
Yeah, there we go. Another one. Dusk and Dawn has been completed here for the Varus. 3 minutes on the Dragon, but I think the next fight should be around this Rift Herald, 1 minute and 45. And I think that it's going to be Kanavi's time to shine on this Dragon. Haven't seen a Dragon's Descent just yet. And Canyon wanting to get that paranoia brushed off as well. And Zeus will have his shield removed. Taking a lot of damage here. Zeka as well.
They're trying to maybe make a topside play here as Gen.G are grouped in the mid lane. And now Kanavi's going to have to make a choice. He's walking face first into that duo.
Yeah, Canyon spots him out. And Dustbringer just going to be thrown over. Props to Canyon for choosing the best Nocturne skin. I love Spooky Nocturne.
This is really scary here for HLE. I think they're just going to have to give this up. Again, you can lose dives, you can lose picks, you can trade dives, you can lane swap, but you cannot lose skirmishes, you cannot lose team fights. Now we have a flanking Mundo.
That's a scary moment here as Zeus moving down. I think Kiin knows the problems here. Chains of Corruption connects onto Guma. He's just dead. Kiin finds it. And a 1-for-1 is not what they wanted. Zeus even has to flash. And the Ghost is running. Zeus will put him down. But that 1-for-1, oh no, that's not what HLE was wanting there.
It's a disaster because now Chovy's got full topside control because there's nobody up here to hold the wave. Chovy's getting money. Kiin got money. And that was not it, unfortunately, for HLE. They were just hunkering down in the mid lane, and Canyon wasn't even needed for the peel. He still has his ultimate, and I don't think they're going to collapse with Ruler, but they did consider it for a moment there as he did leave the mid lane, and Zeus is now just going to grab this plate and back away. Watch Kiin on the play, gets hit by the ult, but damn, that damage is real. Chains of Corruption, and the burst comes through. He sidesteps the briefcase to force the flash out of Zeus as well.
That sidestep was actually kind of insane in order to make sure that that flash was required. I also really love that he goes for the ult immediate Q because this build is all about blight damage, right? And so you get to proc that as Dragon descends into this river. Hostile takeover connects onto a lot of HLE as Kanavi almost just straight up dead as he does manage to fly his way out. But I don't know whether this Dragon's going to be doing much. Chovy eating damage from this Rift Herald.
Almost got no sums and no ult. I think they just have to let it go. And look at the push in the bottom lane. Kiin, who didn't need to TP in, is just chilling. And Gen.G have kept this oppressive comp, again, exactly where it needs to be. It's like the opposite of game one, where the comp was like a slow-moving Ornn composition. This one is just a blender of damage and early game power. And everywhere they go, it's like it's a repelling magnet, and HLE have to scatter away from it and try to pick up the pieces elsewhere.
And they definitely cannot be walking through choke points. Duro took complete control in that moment. I think this Renata is going to be absolutely pivotal as this game goes on. If they're ever going to survive in a late game, it's because he hits the perfect handshakes. He hits fantastic ultimates.
HLE got prio on this Dragon, but it's still not an easy fight to take. Kanavi still needs a little bit more bar here in order to activate his ultimate.
And Kiin has moved over. Ruler eats through these waves so fast with his static Shiv. And Canyon, a little bit late on that spell shield, but he'll be all right. Scatter the Weak does connect there. And the Rift Herald is just going to annoy them. Zeka going to have to deal with this. It could be a double charge, actually, if this does get through, but it doesn't actually eat it in one shot. And now Gen.G on this Dragon. It is going to be Kanavi pushed away, but they dive on in. There's the Dragon descending. Ruler on the side of the fight, though. Kanavi tries to get in, but the bailout is successful. Duro looks for the knock-up, and now it's Gumayusi's time to shine, but he gets scattered. Kiin gets on top. It's a double for the Varus, and Gen.G, they need no tank. They'll just murder you.
And that might have been a back-breaking moment here, even in this early game, as Zeus can't close the gap.
Oh my god. Well, I mean, he can just kill the Varus.
I guess he can.
Yeah, gives them the good old thumbs up and points his little Teemo finger. That was very nicely done.
He's going to TP out for the escape as well, but this is not enough of a turn back here for HLE. The engage is so haphazard, but it has to be during Paranoia, right? So Canyon uses Paranoia to try to secure this objective. Zeka isn't in the play. Mundo's trying to wrap around here when the engage comes through. From Delight, Kanavi gets on top, but he just doesn't have the damage yet. Canyon gets bailed out, so it's a trade of a small basic ability for the enemy jungler. Duro flashes out of the Chaos Storm as Zeka finally gets in here, but they just have too much damage and too much health as they are able to walk away from this one, holding Soul Point with a team fight win. Zeus gets Kiin here, which is kind of crazy, actually.
Yeah.
Just gets that extra auto off there and takes him out. But that is all the end of the good news, and he's the only one holding the gold lead. And I said, HLE can't be losing team fights. They just lost one, and they just lost Soul Point.
And Zeus is actually all of HLE's kills, but one. This Mundo is just the lifeline. He is
goes where he pleases, doesn't he?
He does. He pleased to go back to his fountain, though, after that last skirmish. Wasn't actually able to win out in the fight. And now a dash cannon has been completed here for Kiin. Chovy happily farming here towards the top side. Rageblade done for Ruler as well, alongside those glutinous greaves. As there's a Paranoia, they are looking to try and engage onto the Leona, but she has a lot of tankiness. Still, it's not going to help with those sticks. The Dragon's Descent comes in. Ruler, he has the bailout available as Kanavi. Not going to actually worry about that, as Ruler is going to go down first. But now the Chains of Corruption, absurd damage. They've got a backup AD carry, so it doesn't even matter the Ruler goes down.
It's so hard to just focus the AD carry when there's a Renata right next to him. Yes, they get the kill. They do deny the bailout, but they have to go so deep to do it that it backfires again, and HLE now find themselves 3K in the hole. To watch this one more time, Kanavi's trying to threaten, but he steps too far forward here. Delight has to commit to the engage. The Paranoia makes the follow-up a little bit tricky for Gumo, who's on the edge of this fight as a 0-4 Yunara, who just is so far away from relevance in this game. But with all the collapse here and the Viktor damage coming through, Ruler is burst. But look at the scatter. Down goes the jungler. Now you're caught here. You can't fight anymore, and Guma gets caught by the Chains of Corruption. It's a 1 for 3. and this comp was scaling, right? It was starting to get online, but they ended up getting caught. They were forced to take that fight, and it just doesn't work out. You can see the initial excitement, but it's a disaster in the end.
Yeah, that was definitely a roller coaster of emotions that we witnessed from the audience. And Ruler once again eviscerating waves over and over again. Delight moving through his jungle, trying to get some vision down as Duro gets that stolen blue buff.
But it wasn't
Renata having extra ability haste is a great idea.
It was a 2-item spike for Guma, right in that moment. He had the burst.
Yeah.
But it's...
Oh god, it's a 2,000 gold lead here for Ruler at the moment.
Really not,
look at that Ren damage onto Guma.
Not ideal. Because they're going to try to run it back again, I guess.
Let's see whether it does work out, as the Baron is kind of what they're fighting for at the moment. 1 minute until the Dragon. That'd be Soul for Gen.G if they could get there. Solar Flare is going to scatter the fight, and there is that paranoia. In goes Canyon! But this is not the kind of engage that they're looking for. HLE set up the phalanx, and the scatter will be nice, but there's not a follow-up available, so Gen.G will back away.
The first time in a long time, HLE know their place, know to be patient. There were a few different angles they could have tried to take there post-Delight engage, but they decide to think better of it. Oh, this is a low pocket of vision they found here. Gen.G have no information.
Wait
they're
a
so
second.
far away, there's no paranoia. They might actually get away with this.
They're not going to be able to get vision down. No one is in the area. Canyon is looking to come over, but he's going to get the bad news too early. There's the Baron to HLE.
And when HLE needed a lifeline most, they're able to get this Baron, which will buy them a ton of time in this game, but they have to try to use that power to rush now over to stop this Cloud Soul, and I think they're just going to be a little bit too slow to stop this one, and this Cloud
Everyone's
Soul
here.
gives this comp so much longevity. Will they actually collapse? And here comes the Mundo TP. It's going to be a late arrival, but HLE will arrive just the same.
Well, I mean, Kiin actually, he went back to base. Kind of insane that he decided to do that, as now Ruler is on top of the Drake, but there's another Dragon that's causing problems. Paranoia into the backline, the Unleashed Power is going to take down this Shyvana, and now Kiin is dashing in. The Renata goes down. Delight could be the hero here, as Kiin is going to be taken out. Ruler is bouncing around like a madman, but Delight gets on top of him, and Zeus cuts them down. Gen.G may have just hit the use-by date on this composition, and Zeus is going where he pleases.
Scouter
and I think it's to the death chamber for now. As now Chovy is going to look for Delight. He'll be taken out. Canyon is going to be able to find him. Zenith Blade does nothing. It's a double for Chovy. As Gumayusi is the last Baron alive.
The Dragon was not taken in that fight. Gen.G still have their jungler alive because he respawned to come over. There has his ultimate coming back online as well.
Wait a second. This game is ridiculous.
Okay. This looked like it was maybe the moment where Gen.G lost the game, but in the aftermath, they really do kind of save it. Now, they go so deep here to try to kill Chovy that this is a dead Shyvana on arrival. Chovy used his ultimate for it, though. And watch Guma here. He actually flashed onto Chovy, and then watch the redirect as he realizes he can't chase this Syndra down, and they need his damage. It's a great decision from Guma. Gets over the wall, and now he's out of range of Ruler, so he lets his teammates peel. Chovy gets the scatter, but cannot finish off the kill onto the Yunara. But what happens next is a bit of an overextension here as Guma cannot dive this turret, and Chovy ends up picking up a kill, and the Dragon is still alive.
Oh man, that was...
I think it might not be alive, but
inches. Yeah, no, the Drake was secured by Gen.G.
So they have Cloud Soul.
Yeah, Zeus a little bit frustrated about that one, you could imagine.
It just wasn't necessary to make that play, but they got outplayed by Chovy. They thought, I mean, I would have made that play as well, but now trying to defend this push is Gen.G as this comp is starting to scale here for HLE.
Yep, Solar Flare is going to go wide, but they're going to brute force this with the Baron minions. One Baron left alive. The Rebel Baron power play is sitting at 500 gold. So not exactly the greatest, but still up, which is good. Maybe it's going down though as Canyon going to get the ulti out of Kanavi, and with that Dragon's Descent on cooldown, I know it's easy to get back, but it does give Gen.G a bit of a window to push back here against HLE.
Objective, at least, for the next 5 minutes for that Elder. It's a super early Elder. It's super early Soul. We've had several of these today where we just get the super fast, like sub 25 minutes in this game, and the last one was at like 26.
Yeah, speaking of super fast though, Cloud Soul absolutely insane
Kalista,
for Gen.G's composition. Exactly
Nocturne,
right. Like, Kalista is going to be booking it around these fights. Already bounces around very, very quickly. But what they need to do is kite this HLE comp as fast as they possibly can. And that's going to help.
I think that for HLE, you really have to start wondering what's the next play here. Can you get IE for Guma in time? I think the answer is definitely yes. But then what? How do you get prio? How do you get control? And do you just simply make the choice to try to defend this Elder buff? You've got mid inner up. You've got top inner up. If you could just sit back and scale and just farm waves here, it might be your best bet, because if you just send it into this Elder and flip the game there, you will just lose the game entirely. But if you don't opt to play the Elder flip game, maybe that's your best option. If they could somehow wrestle prio away or find a pick and a side, that would be great. But they're the ones playing into the Nocturne. They don't have a global champion here to chase somebody down or pinch insides. And because of the power that Gen.G have right now in their leads are so immaculate, it's hard to actually get control of a side for Kanavi to play through. And if he tries to use his ultimate in sides, he won't necessarily have it for that upcoming fight. So there's a lot of things that they're now going to have to figure out right now, but they have their backs against the walls. Here comes the Nocturne.
Oh, dear, there's the paranoia. They just dive on top of Delight, and he is executed. Nothing he can do about that.
And there's nothing that they could do in return on the cross map. Their best bet is to just let that go and hope they can defend this turret here as Gen.G group for it on the top side of the map. The wave is cleared by Zeka. The first one, the second one's coming through, and he's going to need some friends here to keep this turret alive as that crystalline is being ready to be popped.
It really is. Okay, Kanavi moving over. There's the scatter onto Zeka. That gives Ruler a bit of an opportunity to get over here. Pretty short range on the Kalista, so sieging is difficult. As Chovy comes in, Gumayusi now going to be fighting against Kiin, but I don't know whether he really likes these odds.
Chains miss, so that could have been a disaster for Guma. Would have lost his cleanse potentially.
But man, they are walking so incredibly quickly. Great handshake there onto Kanavi.
Some extra time for Zeus in the top lane. Someone's going to have to answer that.
Yep.
Now, I'm not talking about who he's talking to on the phone right now with the skin.
Yeah. I think he's probably he's trying to finalize a deal as he's going.
He's calling Kiin. Kiin does answer the call.
Indeed.
And comes over here. Look at the XP here. Zeus and Zeka. Hard scaling, right? Hard farming. Arm guard picked up for Zeka for safety. All they have to do is win the longer fight. The fights have to be longer. And I think now for Kanavi, you've got to wonder, am I diving onto one of these carries? They have too many. They have Chovy, who's giga-fed. 12 stacks of Majai's Soul Stealer. Kiin on a late game Varus also has the arm guard, so diving him probably isn't the option. And Kiin, Ruler, who's got Bailout, Flash, and Cleanse, probably isn't a target for you. Maybe just playing through a slower Chaos Storm fight, waiting for Guma to have his angle with the ultimate and the IE could be the best plan.
I think that's really
harder done than said, though.
Yeah. The difficult part is the fact that Duro is sort of the arbiter of all of these fights. It's who he gives the bailout to and the timing of which he gives it to them as well. As Gen.G on this Baron, they waste no time. It is spotted immediately. Good scatter there onto Kanavi, as this will have to be a fight. Solar Flare goes wide, but they get the dash cannon out of Chovy. This Baron down to 50%. Remember, they have the Rend, so there's a lot more secure here on this one. It does depend when Ruler pulls these sticks out as they make it dark. And in goes the Mundo. They're still looking for the turn. The Baron is going to be secured as there's the Fate's call. Ruler might need to flash out of this one as the Dragon. It descends, and there is the kill onto the Renata, but the rest of Gen.G are going bananas. Kiin now off to the side. Zeka puts him in the gravity well, and Kiin goes golden. This Varus is unstoppable here in this game, and they just killed everyone around the Mundo. Now Canyon goes in, and I don't think he should have.
Yeah, I don't know why he did. This Mundo has flash, and Zeus picking up a double, and it looks like this Baron might just get deleted. Now with these respawns too, consider that HLE might get a more fighting chance on this Elder than we're going to get otherwise because of this.
Oh my God.
And Zeus just bides his time, goes in for the flash play. He's the real cleanup. I love how this was played by HLE though. They finally got that slower fight. They're playing through Zeka's damage here. Guma waits for his moment. When Kanavi goes through, he's trying to soften them up. And it's just so slow, letting the Baron do its work. The paranoia, they wait it out. They look for the front of the fight onto Kiin.
And Chains of Corruption goes wide there as well.
Look at the damage with the ult coming through from Zeka here. Ruler, though, is just so fed in this game. He's bouncing around like a Beyblade. He says no to Guma. No bailout needed. Gets the bailout here, but there's no one to kill.
Wait, HLE, they're on the Elder.
That's what I'm talking about. They have that spawn advantage.
Well, here's the paranoia. Let's see whether he can get in. He doesn't. And It's Canyon that's going to die! He's down to the GA already, and Kanavi, he is healing back up. There goes the jungler, and Hanwha Life eSports, they got some turrets to get through, but I think they'll be able to get through them.
And they have the scaling now on their side. Chovy sitting on 0 deaths, but those deaths might be coming soon. As HLE descend with this Elder buff, with the spawn advantage, with the play from Zeus there at the end of that Baron. Chovy in trouble, he's got to back off.
This is so hard though, because the waves are in a terrible spot here for Hanwha Life eSports. They have to dive if they're going to make this work, and I guess Zeus has an infinite health bar, so that might actually happen. Still, the Arcane Storm, it comes down, it does a lot of damage, but not enough to kill them.
But they just got control over the map. They got control over the map, and I think that might be permanent for the rest of this game because of this composition's incredible late game power. Kanavi going to hit level 16. As there's a bit of a lull here as the defense comes through, some Gen.G fans cheering. But this Baron is not what they were looking for. They're not going to be able to break open the base with only Chovy holding it. They can't really get push anywhere.
And I swear, the gusto on Canyon and Kiin to think that they could actually kill Zeus in that moment, that was their undoing.
What a huge blunder. I mean, it's really... I don't know if I was watching, I thought there's 0 chance, and he's got flash.
Oh my goodness.
But the game is not over yet. But Gen.G's chances have really dropped massively.
50 seconds until the Elder is up. Gen.G grouped as 5. But HLE, I mean, all they need is for this Mundo to race in underneath the turret.
He's just going to TP to help push. Kanavi's on the flank. His ultimate could wipe half these health bars out, and then Zeka could just drop his ult on top, and goodbye Gen.G.
Oh, Kanavi going to get turned on. Maybe he's a little bit overextended. Does take a little bit of damage here, but is otherwise going to be okay. Get some vision over. Duro does need to be really careful. He is super squishy on this Renata. As Solar Flare connects onto Chovy, he gets McHale's. As there's the center plate in. Deline found the angle, but that hostile takeover is unbelievable. And Kanavi, actually the Elder Drake is going to take them down. What the heck was that?
The Elder works against HLE, and they defend the push.
The Dragon ate the Dragon when the Dragon had the Dragon.
That was actually insane. I've never even seen that interaction before, I don't think, which is crazy because we've had so many games of Renata, but you very rarely get to defend an Elder push like this. They go so deep for it, but watch Duro as he sets this one up. It's avoided by Zeka, but the rest of the team not so lucky. Look at the damage Kanavi eats here as he's taken out by his own teammate.
Oh my lord! Okay, well, we're learning things. As well as this game going completely off the rails, one of the most important parts is the fact that Gumayusi is now getting some kills here in this game. 3, 6, and 7 on the Yunara. Catching up in farm as well, catching up in levels.
The lead means very little for Gen.G in terms of the gold right now. Chovy has 25 stacks, like it couldn't be bigger, but it's about the Cloud Soul they still hold. It's about how well they play these team fights, or don't, right? Like, Hanwha kind of got a gimme on that mistake there into Zeus on the Mundo, and so they were able to get the Elder for free. The next time around on these objectives, they'll have to fight their way through. They tried to fight their way last time on the Baron and were relatively unsuccessful until Zeus said, Mundo. But let's see what happens now, because Gen.G, with that defense, keep their whole base alive. No inhibitors go down, and they have a very strong amount of control vision-wise. I mean, look at the wards all around the Baron pit here for this Baron that spawns in 35 seconds.
Chovy has 25 stacks
25 stacks.
Majai's, Swifty Boots upgraded, and Cloud Soul. He's like the fastest Syndra to ever exist.
No, I know, and I wonder if that 0 is ever going to become a 1 in the D column there, because I said earlier when the Elder was at, it might happen, but he did not get caught. He stayed way far back, and he ran away with that movement speed very well.
Oh, Kanavi was looking for a bit of a flank
angle. Look at the prio. I mean, Gen.G have so much control over the map. They have all the vision. They have the wave clear here to push this through. HLE, though, have a Mundo. They've got a teleporting Zeka, and this fight will likely be the one to decide the game.
Yeah, they're not going to go onto the Baron this time around. It's Delay taking a lot of damage. You can see Ruler in that front line. He can actually do this. He's got a Jack Shows completed as well.
The main CC here is the Leona, and sometimes conditionally Kanavi is they're already on this with the Kalista, and HLE are just going to nope out and push mid.
Well, they might actually be successful here. So Light is actually just going to separate from the team. He should be going down as Chovy will find him. The Unleashed Power will be invested. But the Baron will be traded for an inhibitor in the mid lane.
And they're going to try to use this inhibitor pressure to take the Elder, I guess. I mean, Gen.G will eventually back. Chovy is home now. And can Hanwha get out is the real question. They don't have Baron.
Oh, Duro. Can he find the hostile takeover angle? That is the question as Chovy has to flash away from the Dragon. But look at this AoE. Can he get on top of the Yunara and takes out Gumayusi? And now Ruler is in amongst the fight. Zeka will be taken down. And look at Ruler execute these players. Now he's alive to deal with Zeus, who is not going where he pleases this time. Unless it's the Death Chamber. Gen.G have done it. They've taken out HLE and they have not gone to that 0-3 scoreline here in this season.
One lone Leona against the onslaught that is a Baron buff Gen.G at 35 minutes. Guma dreams of respawning here in 20 and carrying this game, but he's going to need more friends if he's going to do it, and they just are not going to give him the time. HLE took a gamble. They looked for the play in mid lane, and it did not pay off. That's it.
And I guess from 2020 until now, the rule still is ban Ruler's Kalista, because my God, he was ridiculous in that game. This man here on your screen though, if I had a POM vote, I would be putting it in the support column. His Poppy, unbelievable.